Hey y'all, this posting is going to be for the best bets and value plays, and we're going to give out our sequence, our pick six, and maybe some other juicy sequences that are available. But we're going to start with the two stakes races that I haven't covered because they weren't part of the late pick five. They're the seventh and the eighth race, the La Prevoyante and the Fred Hooper, respectively. We'll start with the La Prevoyante. It's a grade three, seventh race on the card, running a mile and a half on the turf for 4-year-olds and up, fillies and mares. This is a pretty form-fitting race, shape-wise. Marksman Queen it probably doesn't want to do anything else but be on the lead her last race. That's exactly what happened. They tried to rate her a little bit and was not having none of it. So I suspect she'll be on the lead. Not good enough to be there late. But I think the pace is going to be honest because of Shiloh's Mistress for Mike Maker. You get Luis Saez in the irons, and we know what Mike Maker can do stretching horses out. The thing of note that caught my eye was, in particular, a couple of works back on the tab. Shiloh's Mistress was a bullet out of, I think, 115. You don't see that from turf horses too often. So, if nothing else, I think this one's going to be very keen to get up there and should keep things honest from keep Marksman Queen from slowing it way down. If that does anything, and at 30-1, I'm going to kind of throw in the mix sort of a wild card. Don't expect that she can win this. Would be a tall order with the talent in this field. But if anything, Chop Chop likes to be up near the lead, and that may impede her ability to win this race. You get a Rat Ortiz for Todd Pletcher, but this is the first time he's had Chop Chop, and he is 11% with first time with the team. Now, he's had a couple of months, certainly, to get accustomed, get acclimated to Chop Chop and learn about her and incorporate his own training. So those are all positives. And I think Chop Chop is a player in here. I just, looking at the race shape and what the pace scenario might be, I just think Chop Chop might have it kind of tough being up near the leaders. Now, La Mejana with Dylan Davis in the irons, I really liked the last race. I think Dylan Davis has exactly the right idea. It's just to stay off the leaders, not too far off, and then make a move at the top of the turn, kind of running it like a dirt race. And for a turf course like Gulfstream that is speed favoring, should tactically get the jump on the rest of the field. The question would be, of course, does Le Mahana have enough in the tank to take this one down? But tactically, I think is going to be in the mix. And, stranger things have happened. And we'll get to why it's possible La Mahana could take this one down. But I think is a very strong contender in this race, if nothing else. We come to Beautiful Love. That's my selection. Charlie Appleby, William Buick. This one, at 4 years old, is a right to move forward, has plenty of back class overseas, and didn't embarrass herself in the Breeders' Cup in her last start. First of the year at 4. You don't see any works, of course, but this one's been back in Europe, and you're not going to see him, so that doesn't bother me. I think this one, if she takes a move forward from her 3-year-old year, is going to be extremely dangerous in here. I think I just have no reason to bet against her. I just think she's the best horse in this race, and I'm not worried about coming from behind. I think that she can get up in this field. Forever After All is, for Brendan Walsh, certainly a horse that you want to think about with the way his barn is going, especially with Tyler Gaffalione aboard. But here's the problem. 10 seconds in 21 starts. You can't get past that. I thought the last race, she really had every chance to win and just was a little late to the party and just missed out. She's certainly good enough to win this race, I think, but I can't get past that 10 seconds. So to me, she's a horse that you use for underneath. I'm going to throw Balladoo's Beach in there as well, just as sort of a wild card type of horse at 20-1. Looks like might have a little bit more to offer. So we'll throw her in to round out the field. But I think this one is pretty straightforward, race shape wise, and we'll go with the chalk here. Beautiful Love to take down the La Prevoyante. The Fred Hooper is a grade 3. It's the 8th race on the card, running a 1-turn mile. Remember that at Gulfstream for 4-year-olds and up. And in many ways, this looks like a repeat of the Harlan's Holiday, with one notable little exception, which we'll get to. Looking at this field, I'm not worried about either one of the early speeds. Northern Flame just has proven class-wise, I think he's a little bit up against it, and I don't expect that he will stick around. Upstanding wired a fairly mediocre maiden field last time, and this is to me one of those classic things. Mike Rapoli just wanting to be or put a horse in a stakes race as soon as they break their maiden. This one has taken a while to break the maiden, and I don't see enough to get real excited about where this one's going to take a big move forward and become a stakes player. So I'm going to let Upstanding go, particularly since it'll be an underlay without a doubt. Little Vic in the first start off the layoff. This is a horse who likes Gulfstream, normally runs at sprints, but horses who are at Gulfstream can get a little longer distance, and I don't think the mile is going to be an issue. I think this one is good enough to rate off the leaders, and not quite good enough to win it, but I think can stay in the mix and spice up the exotics. Cape Trafalgar, I don't think is running badly. I think is maybe a hair below the top two in here, but the Harlan's Holiday wilted, but also came off a layoff, and that was at 2 turns. This is a more suitable environment, and given the vulnerability of the horses running early, I think Cape Trafalgar can stick around in this one, and perhaps with a little luck could steal it for the reasons I'm about to unfold. Tumbarumba is my pick to win it. I love this horse. I've always loved this horse. He brings it every time. He's a fighter, loves to compete. I think in the Harlan's Holiday, what happened last time was he was a little too keen to get up on the engine, and consequently it cost him late. So what they do? They took off the blinkers. And I think that's going to allow Tumbarumba to relax a little bit and sit off the leaders, and should allow him to make his move and have enough in the tank to get the job done. Rocket Can is obviously the logical counterpart, co-contender with Tumbarumba. But I think with this equipment change, the way Rocket Can runs, stays about mid-pack, that's going to allow Tumbarumba the tactical edge that he didn't get in the Harlan's Holiday. Rocket can win this race. He's a good, solid horse, and I'm never going to overlook a Bill Mott trainee on a big stakes day, and certainly in the mix, one you would absolutely want to use in your sequences. But I think this is Tumbarumba's race to lose. Bourbon Resolve, I'm throwing in for the Ian Wilkes factor. He'll throw a bomb in on occasion, and this one should be coming late and could suck up at odds into the exotics. That would be the extent of it. Instant Coffee, to me, everything's wrong for him in this race. It's 1 turn. It's on a track that tends to favor speed, and I just, I've never really been the biggest of fans of this horse, and and so I'm just, maybe at a price I might change my mind and swap him out for instead of Bourbon Resolve to get underneath in the try, but that's the extent of it. So to me, very much a repeat of the Harlan's Holiday, except this time I think with the blinkers off, Tumbarumba will be a little more relaxed and should have enough to get the job done late on. Okay, so here are my win selections for each of the stakes. In the La Prevoyante, race 7, we're going with Beautiful Love. The Fred Hooper, race 8, we're going with Tumbarumba. In the William L. McKnight, race 9, we're going to go with Utah Beach. In the Pegasus World Cup Filly and Mare Turf Invitational, race 10, we're going to go with Rakia. The Inside Information, race 11, we're going with Emery. In the Pegasus World Cup Turf Invitational, we're going to go with Mi Hermano Ramon. And finally, in the Pegasus World Cup Invitational, the 13th race, we're going to go with White Albario. So there you have it. There are all my win selections for the day, and hopefully we can go 7 for 7. Now we want to take a look at the Rainbow Six. And for those of you who aren't familiar with it, Gulfstream has a very unique pick six. The Rainbow Six is a 20-cent wager at the minimum. And what they do is basically it requires, in order to win it, you have to be the lone winning ticket to take it all down. If you don't, they do pay, I believe it's 20% of the total pool they pay out for those who did get 6 for 6. So you can still make some money. But really what you're looking for is you wait for those days when there's a mandatory payout and there's carryovers. There quite often are. But anyway, this is a fun day, and I think it's worth taking a shot at it. The beauty of the Rainbow Six is you can spread a little bit more than perhaps you would for a traditional $2 or $1 pick six. So here's what I've decided to do. I do think this is going to be a fairly chalky day, so we don't want to spend a whole lot of money, but I think we've got a good shot at taking it down with this ticket. In Leg 1, Race 8, the Fred Hooper, we're going to go with 3, 5, and 9, and we're going to add in the 9 horse as one that I think offers some pretty good value, and if things break right, could very well wire this field. It's potentially possible. So at odds, we certainly want as many odds horses as we can get. Leg 2, Race 9, we're going to go with 1, 10, and 11. If you want to cut that back to 10 and 11, I understand, and I wouldn't blame you, but we're going to try to spread because we can. Then we're going to double single. I think Rakia is a very good bet in Race 10, and I think Emery is a very good bet in Race 11 in the inside information. So we'll single there, and which allows us to spread a little bit more in some of the other races. Leg 5, the Turf, I think is the most difficult race of all. We're going to spread 4 deep with 3, 5, 6, and 7. And then finally in the Pegasus World Cup Invitational, we're going to use 4, 5, and 11. We're going to throw Krupe in there, who at 15 to 1, I think has got a pretty good shot in this race. And that would certainly give us, we get that one home, and then maybe we get some value in particular in Leg 2. We got a really good shot at taking this down. So it's only going to cost us $21.60 on a 20-cent wager, so why not go for it if you choose. That's the way I'm going to play it. Now we're going to take a look at best bets and value plays. And I've also got some sequences here I think are worth playing aside from the pick 5 and the pick 6. The best bet of the day to me is Emery in the inside information. This horse just doesn't run a bad race, and I think class-wise he's just better than the rest of these, and I think it's a very good setup for her. So Emery is the best bet in the inside information. For a long shot, I love Utah Beach in the 9th race. I really think this horse, you've got a couple of vulnerable favorites in Bold Act and Limited Liability, and I think it's a prime spot for a horse who runs like Utah Beach does, who has some upside. So that's my long shot play of the day. Morning line is 10 to 1. Hopefully it will drift up when people bet Bold Act down, and we should get a really nice payout if that one comes in. For value plays, let's take Balladoo's Beach, the 8 horse in the La Prevoyante. Nacho Correas with these South American imports is usually pretty strong, and it's a field that I think there's some potential to beat some of the more prominent horses in it, and Balladoo's Beach may come under the radar. Cape Trafalgar in the Fred Hooper, I think has the right running style and at a price. If Tumba Rumba and Rocket can cancel each other out, if they butt heads or whatnot, Cape Trafalgar could pick up the pieces, or tactically just could be ahead of them going into the stretch, and I think this horse has the class to do it, so we'll go there. Dona Clota in the race 10, another Nacho Correa South American import. This one's carried weight down there, which I always like to see, and this one looks like a pretty good performer. We'll see. Worth a shot for a value play. Mi Hermano Ramon in the Turf. I think there's vulnerability from the more prominent horses, and I really like the fact that Mia Ramon just continues to get better with each race, and I think he has some upside, and so we'll go with him at 8-1. I think he can win the race. And then finally, in the Pegasus World Cup Invitational, as we mentioned, number 5, Krupi, at 15-1 on the morning line. I think this horse is sitting on a big one. And I think he'll be closer to the pace than perhaps he normally is from the 5-hole. He should be able to do it. And that may be enough. You've got the 3 prominent horses are all vulnerable for one reason or another. White Barrio, Saudi Crown, and Locked all have some vulnerability to them. I do think White Barrio is good enough to win, but if not, Krupi is a really nice alternative, so there's a value play. So I threw in some doubles, and they're all built around my best bet of the day, which is Emery is one of them, and that's races 10-11, 1-9 with Rakia as the other single, just a straight cold double. I thought we'd have a little fun in races 8-9 and go with Balladoo's Beach to win what I think is a. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I? No, I meant scratch that. That's races 7 and 8. I apologize for that. At 7 and 8 is the first double. 8 with 3, 5, 9. Races 7 and 8. The La Prevoyante for the race 7 with the 8, Balladoo's Beach. And the 9, the 9th race, 3, 5, and 9, the 8th race, the Fred Hooper, 3, 5, and 9. So that's races 7 and 8 for the first one. I'm sorry for the typo. And then, like I said, a cold double, 1-9, 2 singles, races 10 and 11. And then let's have a little fun in the turf, which I think is a wide open race. We'll spread there with 3, 5, 6, 7. And then we'll single Krupi. And just go for it, and if it hits, we should be should pay out pretty well. Pick threes, again, built around our singles. So we'll go 1, 10, 11. We get Utah Beach home. Then we're looking really good with Rakia and Emery in the 10th and 11th races. And then races 10 through 12, we've got Rakia in the 10th, Emery in the 11th, and then we'll have 3, 5, 6, 7 in the turf. And so we probably, a relatively meager wager that could pay out pretty well. You probably want to hit that last pick 3 a little heavier because it may tend to be a little on the chalky side, but I think it's a really good bet. So there you have it. There's all of our all 7 stakes races, the consecutive ones. There is a turf sprint earlier on the card. I haven't had a chance to take a look at it. Life does get in the way sometimes. I'm sorry about that. But I think this gives you a lot of options, and I hope it helps you in how you formulate your own wagering strategy for what I think is going to be a really fun card. It just looks like a lot of really good quality stakes races, and it should make for some nice betting opportunities. Hope our analysis helps you with your own wagering strategy. Wish you the best of luck as always. And if you do like content like this, of course, please like and subscribe. And again, thanks to all of you who have recently come on board. We do appreciate it, to be sure. Going to have a lot more content as we go along through the thoroughbred racing season. We've got the Derby Trails going to be really heating up next week with a couple of preps. And we'll continue to cover the prominent stakes races as they surface. So that's it from here. I'll talk to you soon. And until then, be well.